Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Prado House experience. I don't know what you call it. Here we have it. I'm hoping it goes a bit better than part 1. I lost quite a lot of footage in part 1, and which is why if you've watched that you jump from pieces of a chair to a fully constructive version. So, without further ado, I shall turn the camera to what I hope is not too weird an angle and show you what's in the pack. Right, here we are. It's wrapped in cellophane, so that's what the light is playing on. So I suggest we take that cellophane off pronto. The delights part 2 will lead us to. It looks like we're going to make the bed, which is actually not far off the bed that was in the photo of Frida Kahlo's. It's a 4-poster bed, hers. I'm not going to make the 4-poster bed. I'm kind of having artistic struggles between my desire to stay true to the kit and my desire to do a Frida Kahlo thing, so it's all a bit of a compromise. But we've got another piece of rather nasty fabric. I think it's the same fabric that was meant to be put on the chair, which I didn't use. A piece of sponge. That's to do with the bed. The bits for the bed. And what else have we got? Oh, a piece of card. 2 pieces of card. I don't know if that's just to keep the magazine straight. The instructions for the bed. Yeah. And part 2 of the magazine. Let's have a look. It looks again like it's the history of dolls' houses, but with, oh wow, look at that. As I said, they do have these amazing illustrations in these magazines. All little pieces of types of furniture. Okay. Oh, that's quite cool. Look at that one. Yeah, but that's what where I thought that Dolls' Houses started off with was with the cabinet house. So that's the kit. It looks like it is just the sleigh bed. We haven't got anything to do with the actual interior of the house. So it's more or less similar, I think. Prepare the pieces of wood, separating them with the craft knife and sanding the edges. Apply paint or varnish before the final assembly of the bed. Righto. So here are the pieces. It looks like I'm going to have to work quite carefully to separate these. And I will come back to you when they're separated. So I've separated all the pieces. There's a strange 2D quality to the furniture in this house. I think it's the legs, you know, they're not rounded. But when from what I've seen of the pictures, when they're all together, they have a kind of cohesion to them. Well, I'm hoping that's what's going to happen anyway. So I'm going to stain them, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this picture here, and I'm going to try and make a cover and embroider a sort of a tree on it. for the bedding, which is it's called The Dream or the Bed. Frida Kahlo spent quite a lot of time in bed because she wasn't a well woman. So the beds, I think, beds often appear in her paintings, and various symbols appear with them. I know when I first started this, I was just interested in, doing something a little bit different, really. I wasn't particularly interested in Frida Kahlo. I didn't know much about her at all. But having read a bit, I just think, who the hell was this woman, She came from a completely alien culture to me. I know nothing about Mexican culture. I hadn't even really appreciated the kind of delineation that she makes between Spanish descendants of Mexico and Indian descendants, the indigenous population, as opposed to the descendants of the colonial rule. You kind of forget how we know so little about other people and other people's cultures, really, unless we make a real effort to try and understand them. And I think it is important, especially in today when there's so much intolerance towards other people, is to try and get to know other people from other cultures and learn a little bit about them, even if, it's just kind of through art and books. We spend a lot of time in Spain, and I'm gradually trying to learn Spanish. I have a Spanish teacher called Anna, who is helping me. I'm profoundly deaf, so it's it's an interesting journey for me and Anna, I think. But we're plodding on with it, and I just think it gives you another dimension on life if you open your mind to other cultures and other people's languages. And so yeah, I'm finding it really interesting doing this. And she was some girl was Frida. You wouldn't want to mess with her by the sounds of it. But I shall just finish this side of this piece. Actually, I'm running out here, so I think I'll stop this bit here and come back to you when it's all done and I'm ready to complete it. I'm trying to keep the videos at about 20 minutes each, so you don't want to, it's a little bit like watching paint dry, isn't it? So I'll come back in a while. The bed is all made up. I raised the height of the mattress by sticking another piece of foam on top of the bit that was given, because I want the covering to hang over the sides of the bed rather than tuck in, as the instructions said. I've covered it with a piece of white to make a sheet, and I've started the bed cover, embroidering the bed cover. This is water soluble pen, so that will all rub off. And I've done you can see I've done the stems, and now I just need to do the leaves at the top. This here is the sizing of the actual width of the bed, so I know that you can see that will fit on, and then this bit will drape over when I've done. So it's progressing. The weather here is absolutely beautiful, so I've actually been out in the garden most of the time, but I did sit out last night and do a little bit of this in the evening sunshine, which was really nice. So I shall come back when it's all completed. And here we have the finished bed with my embroidery. It's pretty rudimentary, it's just back stitch and then a little bit of sort of satin stitch for the leaves. And then I digitally printed these cushions. I have got, if you look at my other videos, there is a video that tells you how to do this. I digitally printed those, which I got from the painting, the skeleton on the top of the bed, because the Del Prado isn't a full poster, but I thought I'd like to incorporate that. The other thing I've done is I've printed out some of the pictures. I'm just going to try and find them. Sorry there. So there is the picture, the dream. Now it's shiny on here because what I wanted to achieve was a kind of look that it had been painted, not a flat look. So I put some dimensional magic on it, and it's still drying. And I also printed out and did the same thing to, that's another self-portrait that Carlo did. These Mexican, I think they're called ex-voltos. Basically, if misfortune occurs to you, then you pray to a saint for help and it's granted, then you paint a little picture and you describe what happened underneath. And Frida Kahlo collected all these. They're kind of folk art things, really. There was one, it's not here, that I really liked, where the lady, she was in her kitchen on her knees giving thanks to a saint because she couldn't cook very well, and when she first got married, her husband said it didn't matter, but then he started disappearing off to his mother's to eat and she was worried she was going to lose him completely. So she prayed to I think it was San Miguel, and her cooking miraculously became tasty and her husband always came home for dinner after that. So I'll have to try and find that one and print that one out because that's definitely going in the house. I'm going to put all these on the wall of the bedroom when they're done. I shall frame them and put them on the wall of the bedroom. But I just got really kind of carried away with them. I can see why Frida Kahlo liked them. And the other thing that's interesting about them is that you can kind of see the influence that they had on her art. This kind of flat, folk arty type of way of doing things. I'd love to know. I need to look up what the guy sitting on the pole, what he was giving thanks for there. But that is basically the end of the bed. So that can go with the chair, and we will be on to part 3 of the Del Prado house next. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching, and if you hit subscribe, then it would really help me. It doesn't cost anything, and I think it means that you get notifications when the next video is coming. But it just seems to kind of push you up the viewings or something. I don't really understand it, but anyway, I know that everybody else on YouTube says please hit like and subscribe, so I'm just following suit really, and hoping for the best. Thanks again. Bye.